Hi, I'm Janice Kephart, and welcome to this Border Basics discussion of terrorist travel. I'm going to explain what terrorist travel is and why doing what we can to prevent it must be part and parcel of any border strategy developed by the Obama administration or in any proposed immigration legislation in Congress. The phrase terrorist travel refers to how terrorists cross borders and manage to stay in countries without being detected by government authorities. I divide terrorist travel into four sequential segments: pre-travel education, pre-travel preparation, the travel operation itself, and post-travel assimilation and embedding tactics. Pre-travel education is how a terrorist is taught to behave when crossing borders, depending on whether the mission calls for legal or illegal entry. Pre-travel preparation includes how a terrorist tailors his travel documents to his destination, the best routes to travel that offer the least scrutiny, and when and if to employ an alien smuggler. The travel operation is the travel itself, which makes use of pre-travel education and preparation. Taking advantage of weak border crossing policies is key, such as those that don't verify that people are who they say they are. Weak physical borders that enable illegal entry may also be exploited. Post-travel embedding and assimilation tactics is how to stay in a destination country without raising red flags. This is done by applying for immigration benefits such as student status or even naturalization, marrying a local, and acquiring government-issued IDs like driver's licenses in order to take advantage of the privileges of the destination country, as well as appear more assimilated. What is important to remember is that terrorists use much of the same basic fraud anyone else does that want to get in and stay in a country under some form of false guise. They falsify information to get travel documents such as passports and visas. They counterfeit birth certificates and other identity information to get driver's licenses. They lie to border personnel when questioned. They use alien smugglers when necessary. And they apply for immigration benefits they are not entitled to, and they often get them. So in many ways, much of terrorist travel is indistinguishable from basic fraud. What elevates terrorist travel to a different level, and why the government is focused on terrorist travel in a way that was non-existent prior to 9/11, is the potential threat that terrorist activity poses to national and economic security. The concept of terrorist travel is not just for policy wonks. It is for anyone that cares about stopping a terrorist from achieving his goals. A terrorist can't do much if he can't get where he needs to go. So giving our immigration personnel every possible chance to stop a terrorist travel is our first and best line of defense. And that's a policy goal that's in everyone's best interest. A terrorist travels not just for an attack, but even more often to communicate, transfer money, or deliver weapons, for example. You would think they'd be using every modern means, and sometimes they do, but they're finding that the more they do, the more they get caught. Their cell phones get tapped, their emails are intercepted, their money wire transfers traced and bank accounts frozen, their luggage is intermittently checked. The result is that they've resorted to archaic means to communicate, to transfer money, and to deliver weapons, often by messenger. But using messengers involves risk of being caught by immigration authorities, and so, even more crucial these days is that terrorists become expert at travel. As the ante is upped and the better the terrorist is at travel, of course, the better immigration authorities must be at catching him. What that means for our nation is that we can no longer afford to take up immigration issues and ignore its fundamental link to terrorist travel. We can't pretend it doesn't exist or has no connection to larger immigration questions. If much of what we do is stop terrorist travel also helps address larger societal concerns like identity theft and document fraud, we're making positive strides for all of us. Recognizing border security as national security is not just another soundbite. It's sound principle that in practice makes us safer, and one we just can't afford to overlook when immigration issues are debated, border strategies are put in motion, and legislation proposed in Congress.